Corey Sparks.
For Marshall against Johnson Crick. We're going to go with that, I guess.
And Wally Lukaczynski.
Enjoy the fake tainted national title, you scumbags.
Covering everything from the green and gold to pro, college, and high school sports around South Central Wisconsin. Broadcasting live from the Daily Dodge TV studios. This is the Damn Sports Show. Presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun on Daily Dodge TV and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
We have returned to glorious Beaver Dam, back from our sabbatical over in Madison, Thursday and Friday, the Damn Sports Show. Still on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, that didn't change, and Daily Dodge TV as well, that also did not change, but thank you to our Madison teammates for allowing us to go in the Everlight Solar Studios, give them a little extra bump. We are now back in our Daily Dodge TV studios, and outside of that, which was awesome, what a bummer of a weekend for Wisconsin sports, except for one team. That we'll talk about a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy for them.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Happened to...
Asterisks. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's fine. I'm absolutely not going to...
Not sour at all.
No, and I'm sure we're not going to have a teammate calling from Milwaukee in the next block, and I'm very excited for that as well.
We have multiple teammates calling from Milwaukee. We have Gabe Neitzel here in the first block. We'll keep the second guest a mystery for now.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. I'm going to get dunked on
They'll
here.
introduce themselves when they come on. We'll be talking Badgers men's basketball, Badgers women's hockey, national champs. And for the third block, we have head coach Mike Pogorelec for the Beaver Dam Girls Hockey team on to talk about their sectional final appearance, their magical 2-year turnaround, and everything he's accomplished since taking the reins over that program in 2023. And we'll wrap up today's episode with Who's Hot, Who's Not here on 1430 ESPN BD and Daily Dodge TV. Again, you can follow us on Facebook, ESPN Beaver Dam, Twitter, ESPN BD, or the show Twitter, Dam Sports ESPN. If you want to follow, feel like what's really trending on our page right now is Wally's Fasting Frenzy. So that is what you can look forward to finding on there.
I'm hanging on by a thread right now.
You had a cheat meal.
Literally, sometimes I'm starting to wonder if these cheat meals are actually doing me more harm than good. Because it's almost like a door opening back to the real world. And I get excited and I think my body adjusts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, yesterday, I was hungry.
Oh, yeah.
I was hurting yesterday. All I was dreaming about was those wings, that Caesar salad. I never thought I'd be so excited to have a Caesar salad until Saturday, and my mouth is literally like watering even thinking about it. But we're going to the dump this week. Yeah. Thursday, we got another cheat meal coming. Burgers, fries, and some March Madness, and I'm very excited for that.
It's funny. That was your cheat meal, but I think I hurt myself more. We'll talk about that probably a little bit in the last block. I think I saw that my little Engorge Fest is making, it is making an appearance. Yeah, we'll bring that up on what happened on Saturday, along with the Badgers' unfortunate loss. Right out of the gates, let's bring in Gabe Neitzel. You can hear him live on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. on ESPN Milwaukee and the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel. Gabe, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. You guys are doing who's hot, who's not later. You know who's not?
Oh, no.
Who's that?
The Ohio State women's hockey team.
Asterisks.
Right away. Drive the knife.
What do you mean asterisk?
Oh, what do you mean, what do I mean? We had like 18 reviews in that game. Every single one went that way. We got a shootout or a penalty shot that the skaters goes backwards with 20 seconds left. Should be 3 and 4. That's all I'm saying.
They're just, this is all, who complains about the officiating, Wally?
Me right now.
Yeah, the losing team.
You're 100% right, and I definitely wouldn't be saying anything if they won, but I am definitely hurting today. I am happy for you Badgers fans, but I'm more sad for me.
In all seriousness, Wally, you said you've got another cheat meal coming up. I've been following this along, and good on you guys for also, doing some great things in the community there in Dodge County and Beaver Dam. You said burger and fries. Is it a specific burger and fries like you're craving? You know what burger and fries you're going to be getting?
I'm sure you're probably actually more familiar with it. I think it might have been AJ Bombers out there in Milwaukee. There's a peanut butter, they put it on the bottom bun. And
yeah, that's AJ Bombers. Yep, that's the AJ Bombers signature.
And I was going to say, this place, the dump has peanut butter on the bottom of one of these burgers, and I'm telling you, but with that,
Burger.
And I think it's the Boss, with bacon on it as well. I am literally itching for it, Gabe. Only reason we're not going earlier is because I want to get out there, use it as an excuse to have a good meal and watch some more tournament action.
Yeah, no, that's just smart. You're just you're using the cheat meal in a smart way, and I applaud you for that.
I appreciate that. I needed a pump up today.
Supporting partners as well. Gabe, unfortunately, tough losses in the first weekend for both Wisconsin and Marquette, but looking at the broad scope of the bracket, relatively chalky compared to years past. We have 110 seed right now, and it's led by one of the best college basketball coaches of all time, so I'm going to be careful using the word Cinderella there. Do you like the cream rising to the top where you have a lot of these higher seeds making it where they should, or do you enjoy a good Cinderella story a little bit more?
I mean, I enjoy a good Cinderella story every now and again, but I just want good basketball games. I want the fun part about the Cinderella is, like, rarely do they blow them out. Now, I know the first time we got a 16 beating a 1, like UMBC just blew the doors off of Virginia. But typically, if that Cinderella's winning, it's going to be in some sort of dramatic fashion. I think that's why a lot of us have come to grow to love the Cinderella over the years. But honestly, this is a part of what the college basketball landscape is probably going to be. When you think about, and again, these are going to, unfortunately conjure up bad memories for, fans of Wisconsin, college basketball teams. But is John Morant sticking around at Murray State multiple seasons in an NIL era, or is he transferring out because someone's going to recognize that that's a top 10 or top 5 NBA pick, and they're going to go get him? Same thing with Steph Curry at Davidson. How long is he going to be sticking around there, before somebody comes in and poaches him away? And I think that's what you're starting to see is, a lot of that mid-major talent that maybe went under-recruited, or, somebody that just blossomed physically after, in that summer between their high school senior year and their freshman year of college. Those guys are probably going to end up getting, recruited out of their mid-major and end up at one of the power schools. And I'm expecting to see more and more of this and not as much of, the Cinderella stories. And one of the Cinderella stories, it's funny, from a couple of years ago, FAU were running all the way to the Final Four. Their top 3 scorers from that team, all in the Sweet 16, just all for 3 different teams.
Zach, I didn't even realize that. That's a heck of a nugget. I will say this, though. If you are going to look at it this way, it does seem like we are almost going to shift back to like that late 90s, early 2000s where you don't see the upsets as much. Does that make that Cinderella story more special then in a weird way? Because that feels like we are almost getting like oversaturated for a long time with these Cinderella stories. They haven't felt as special. Do you think it might start looking a little bit more like we kind of grew up with 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly could get that, or the Cinderella stories just kind of last one round, like the way they did this year. You think of McNeese and first of all, their manager getting $100,000 plus in NIL deals, like what 6 different companies wanting to be coming out with a Buffalo Wild Wings logo on his speaker. But McNeese being a 12 seed and nobody really necessarily knows Drake winning their first game in the tournament since I think well before even I was born. So, I think you can still get those little good stories here and there, but I think you end up flaming out and you don't see a special run the way we saw with some of these other teams, making it to, a Sweet 16 in the Elite 8, making it to that second weekend. The Cinderella stories may just be, okay, you won a game in the opening round and that's about all you're going to get.
Yeah, more short-lived. I know when NIL looked like it was going to be what it was supposed to be, name, image, and likeness, go out, get your endorsements. I think a lot of people were thinking, athletes are going to go home. They're going to stay in the same state as their family so they can go out and watch them easily. And maybe it is a mid-major school, but they can show out, and then it turned into a bidding war. We could do a whole episode on this. Gabe, who do you have winning it all from here? 12 of the final 16 teams are a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed. Who do you got?
So I'm still sticking with Florida. I know they probably didn't look the best in the first couple of rounds, but Florida was the original pick. I don't know how many of the 25 brackets you filled out, Corey, have Florida as the national champion. I know it's probably hard for you to stick to some sort of original pick that you had, sticking to your morals, your principles, things of that nature. But that's what I'm going to do here. I am sticking with Florida. I still think that they are an incredibly talented team that showed that even if they did not have their best opening weekend, they were still pretty dominant in getting to the Sweet 16. I think they're only going to continue to get better.
Well, you just answered my next question, so I'll crumple that one out and throw it away. I was going to say really chalky bracket, but still nobody made it through the first weekend. Does that move the needle at all for you? Are you going to join me and make 25 of your own brackets next year?
Gabe's a good human being.
Yeah, no, I've got, again, I have morals, I have principles, and things like that. Me and Wally are very much on the same page here, Corey. I am not going to switch to your dark side of things, 25 brackets every year.
Maybe I'll do 50.
So proud of you,
50
Gabe.
next year.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. And like
emails?
I said, you belong in jail. But one of the things that has been being discussed around these tough losses here, the Badgers' losses, how does that change the season for you at large? And I want to ask you that same question about Marquette. Did this change how you view this year for the Golden Eagles? Or are you still saying, hey, you know what, this was a fun team, good team, successful year?
Yeah, it's tough because so much of sports comes down to how do you do in the postseason. Mm-hmm. And you brought up Arkansas, right? Like they're a 10 seed. Mm-hmm. And they, for the most part, this year, they had a 5-game losing streak in the SEC earlier this year. For the most part, they underachieved all year. But now they win 2 games in March in the middle of the tournament. They're in the Sweet 16, and suddenly it's going to be a successful season. On the flip side of things, you've got a team like Marquette, who was so good for the first 2.5 months. They kind of forgot how to shoot. Cam Jones, unfortunately, didn't play. Played like one of the best players, not the best player in the country, the way he was playing earlier. Mm-hmm. And they end up bowing out early. For Marquette, it's a disappointing end to the season. And it's a disappointing end to those seniors' careers because the Guardians, as the program has gotten to call that senior class, the group that came in were Shaka Smart and were his first freshman class. They've been so good. Nearly 100 wins in their 4 years, a Big East championship, a Big East tournament championship. It's just, to me, it's a shame that it ended that way. And I know when I talked with you guys on Friday, I was really confident that they were going to come through. And unfortunately, Cam Jones just didn't play his best. And I'm going to wrap this in with Wisconsin, too, because I talked about this morning on my show. And maybe this is just a social media thing that I don't get, but I don't want to make it. But if you're sad and disappointed that Marquette lost or Wisconsin lost, you can be disappointed with the loss. That's not what I'm saying in this specific moment, because especially with Wisconsin, they fight their way back. Tanjay can't get the cleanest look, but still gets one off to try to tie it up and send it to OT, and it just doesn't fall. And Guard hasn't gone to a Sweet 16 now since 2017. Mm-hmm. But both these guys, I think, have their programs going in the right direction. Shaka Smart has made the tournament each of his last 4 years, all 4 years in Wisconsin, at Marquette. And the guy before, Steve Wojciechowski, who I really liked, but unfortunately, Marquette didn't have success under him. They went to 2 tournaments, lost in the opening round both times, and that's it. This is a team that's traveling in the right direction. They have an identity. They have a coach that's building a culture. Continue to let him build it. And again, if you're frustrated with the loss, I get it. But don't be going on social media and saying, I want accountability, and start calling for people's heads. Same thing with Greg Gard. Yes, it's disappointing he hasn't been to a Sweet 16 since 2017. However, I don't know how you walk away from this Badger season not feeling really good about Greg Gard. Because, guys, what was always the narrative with Greg Gard and Wisconsin teams? Oh, they're too slow. Mm-hmm. Oh, they can't develop talent. Oh, they're never going to play good enough offense. And you take a look at 2 of the guys that they had at the top of their program last year who transferred out, who had worse seasons offensively this year at the new programs, and then you bring in John Tanjay, and you let that guy cook to the point where he has the second greatest single season scoring the basketball in Badgers history. Like, I'm sure Greg Gard, in fact, I can guarantee you, Greg Gard would have wished his team defended better, because that dude wants his teams to play defense. But he was smart enough to know, okay, that's not the type of team we have. We can outscore people. We can get up and down the floor. And they played a brand of Badger basketball that most Badger fans aren't familiar with. So he has shown the ability to adapt, be able to bring in good talent, develop that good talent, and bring you a pretty good team. I would walk away being encouraged by Wisconsin more than anything this season because of what Greg Gard was able to prove. The NCAA tournament is such a crapshoot. It is the most entertaining way to determine a champion, but it is also the worst way to determine a champion because it's all random. Does your team shoot well that night? Do they not? Does the other team get hot even though you play great defense? There's so much, of that goes into the tournament that makes us love it as an entertainment product, as a fan. It makes people want to take off Thursday, take off Friday. But I'm not going to say that Greg Gard needs to be fired because they didn't make it to the Sweet 16 this year. You should be encouraged. And if you're a Marquette fan, it's the same thing. Shaka Smart is building a culture, and that is the type of guy that you want leading your program.
You brought up a lot of great points there, Gabe, as always. And I even look back to a couple of months ago, the Badgers were picked to finish in the bottom half of the Big Ten. I want to say it was in the ballpark of 12th, and they ended up in the Big Ten tournament championship for the second year in a row, and then unfortunately did bow out there against BYU. You mentioned Cam Jones at the beginning there. 2,000-point scorer, one of the most electric players in college basketball this year. I know he cooled off a little bit in the final weeks. You've covered this team in the Marquette Basketball Radio Network. Now that all is said and done, where does Cam rank amongst all-time Golden Eagles legends?
Ooh, I mean, he's certainly up there. He's unfortunately for him, he's the second best player of the Shaka Smart era because Tyler Kolek existed, and just that's how special Tyler was, and everything that he did. But I mean, Cam, to have a triple-double this year, to be the first player to do that since Dwayne Wade did it, to be a consensus second-team All-American, like that consensus part, only 9 other players have been a consensus first or second-team player in Marquette history. You mentioned the 2,000 points. I mean, there's zero chance of catching Marcus Howard for anybody. It's outrageous what Marcus Howard did at Marquette. So for him to be able to be the second player to ever get to 2,000 points, he's an incredibly special player. And then on top of it all, they asked him to do something differently this year. And it started last year after Tyler Kolek got hurt. But, okay, you've never really played point guard in your life, but we need you to play point guard. And then for him to be able to do that, and, I mean, I think it was the middle of December, and he had more assists than he had, all of last year. And to be able to transition into that role because Tyler was gone and Sean Jones, they decided to redshirt him, who was kind of, he was the guy they were penciling in to be that next point guard as he continued to recover from a knee injury. I mean, he is a truly special player, and to accomplish all the things that he did at Marquette. And that's why I felt so bad for him. Bad games happen, and for the bad game for him to come at that moment in his final game. I know he had sent out a tweet, over the weekend saying, "Man, I wish I could get that fifth-year option the way that a lot of other guys did because of that COVID year, and this is the first obvious class that doesn't get that COVID year and that additional fifth season." But he's truly a special player. He's somewhere in the top 10. Where specifically, I don't know, but I mean, he is truly a special player in the history of a pretty storied program.
Well, much like Tyler Kolek, it should be fun to watch him in the association next year, too, for sure. Gabe, we'll switch more over to Packers and draft talk next time we have you on, but obviously wanted to talk about college basketball. We're in the thick of the tournament right now, and in case you're wondering, all 25 of my brackets are dead. So we appreciate you coming.
Shut up.
Had to sneak that in there, but thank you for coming
1 month from today, boys. 1 month from today, NFL draft in Green Bay.
Special times, man. Looking forward to it. Thank you as always, Gabe.
We'll talk to you boys next week.
Can't wait.
That is Gabe Neitzel. You can hear him live on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. on ESPN Milwaukee and the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel. Matthew Galston is making a great point in the YouTube chat as well. Wisconsin was picked to be in the bottom of the Big Ten and became one of the best. Once again, unfortunately, didn't win the Big Ten tournament. That didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Still got a 3 seed. And then the one that really hurt was the BYU loss. We'll cover more of that next when we come back, a segment we're going to call The Badgers Won and The Badgers Also Lost. Roller coaster of emotions for not only Badgers fans, but specifically Wally here these last 48 hours. That's coming up next here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Recline you comfortable nap. You can even get a lift chair with heat and massage.
Occasionally nice. You're tuned in to Corey and Wally on the Damn Sports Show, presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun, Dodge County's local sports show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
Welcome back to the Damn Sports Show, presented to you by Real Sports Cards in Waupun. If you are looking for a one-stop shop for all things sports cards, head on over to Real Sports Cards in Waupun. You can check out their app as well. If you're into sports cards, Pokemon cards, anything in between, Real Sports Cards has you covered. Live break streaming right on the app. You can grab individual cards on the go, be a part of a group, and watch for your favorite players and teams as the packs are opened. Go to the Apple or Google Play Store today. Look for the orange logo and take your collection to the next level with Real Sports Cards. That's your local resource for all things sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. We are streaming live on Daily Dodge TV and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Highly suggest you tune into the former. Go on Daily Dodge TV and you will not see Wally in the frame. Neither is his mic, because he brought it down to the floor with him. And that's where he is sulking right now. And we're just going to rub it in a little bit more. We have Taylor Smith on the phone at the moment. Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm just great, Taylor. It's great to hear from you.
Wally, I know you're feeling great.
Oh, I'm on top of the world. Who wouldn't be? It's a beautiful day. Nothing happened over the weekend. Just, only basketball. It's the only thing that happened. Hope you're doing
Honestly,
well.
I forgot about basketball this weekend.
I bet you did. And I was going to say, you're getting not only a bottle of wine on me because my Buckeyes failed me, but you're going to get an actual ton of wine right now from me as well, because I am in all kinds of pain after your Badgers just ripped my heart out of my chest.
I got to say, I was a little nervous. I made 2 bets, one with you and one with a Minnesota fan in our office, Harold.
Forgot Harold's Minnesota.
And Minnesota and Ohio State are both very, very good teams. And playing a team at home is not an easy feat. So I was a little nervous about the Minnesota bet, and the way the game started off for Ohio State, I was even more nervous, but feeling great now, honestly.
Oh, I bet you are. I got to ask you. So we got to talk about this penalty shot at the end of the game. Where did you come down? If you remove your Wisconsin hat, how do we feel? Was that a justified penalty shot? Do you also, I mean, everybody's talking. It's not me. People are talking. Skater potentially going backwards on that penalty shot as well. How are we feeling if we take that Wisconsin hat off?
So I have to admit it's very hard for me to take the Wisconsin hat off completely.
Sure.
So I think there may still be some bias in my response. But I think that she moved laterally and that it was a good shot. And I think I don't know, I think they would have caught something if they really thought it was illegal. So I think that it was a good shot and a phenomenal move by Kirsten Sims.
It was a phenomenal move. I also have to give credit, too, because whenever you see those situations where Coach Johnson, in this case, who wants it, and that is so scary in that moment to actually have the guts to say, yeah, with less than 20 seconds left, odds are if they don't score there, the Buckeyes finish that game off. And instead, she goes out there and absolutely buries it. Again, rips my heart out of my chest. And it felt like that game was over even going into overtime. You heard me complaining to you. I'm like, I hope they respond better to me. And it certainly didn't feel like it happened.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you, it felt like a clean slate. The Badgers definitely needed that. And I think they had that momentum from the penalty shot going into overtime that definitely helped them. But again, it was just a clean slate that definitely needed to happen after like the first half of the game for the Badgers. It wasn't the prettiest, but I don't know. Kirsten Sims really knows how to fire up that team. As we saw, 2023, she scored the lone goal in the championship against the Buckeyes there. So it was really no surprise to me that she was the one who raised her hand there. And I think it was funny that she mentioned something about, her teammates were cheering her on, and that's kind of why she raised her hand. But I know that girl is confident, and she knows that she can do that. So I don't know how much it was teammates, more so she knew she could do that and could be the one that steps up in the moment. So I thought that was, like you said, a really cool moment, the who wants it. And I don't expect anything less from an iconic team and iconic coach like Mark Johnson.
No, and that you're absolutely right. It is an iconic team right now, and we're getting one of the cooler new rivalries in sports, and I hope people are really paying attention to it because over the last 4 years, these two teams, both 2 championships now, and you were probably trying to help ease my ego and pain last night, but you even said, hey, you know what? These 2 teams might be back again next year for 4th time's the charm, and I really hope you're right, Taylor, because I need my sweet revenge on you Badger fans out there.
Honestly, I hope so. They're back in it again next year, and I am someone who chronically reads comments, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and I saw someone who was upset that it was Wisconsin and Ohio State back in the championship just because they're like, is the game really growing? But to that point, I saw other comments, obviously people upset with the penalty shot call and what led to the penalty shot even, and I'm like, hey, I think this is a good thing that there are people in these comments that are upset, like complaining like they would with men's hockey about women's hockey. Like, I think that shows growth and like people are interested in the game, and you know what? Maybe people don't think it was the best call, but either way, we got a heck of a game and excited to see what next season brings.
No kidding. This is such a great time for women's hockey, and I feel like it has grown. People can complain all they want, but what happens in all sports? Dynasties are great for sports. People hate dynasties. They hate that greatness, and I tell you, I know the Badgers are great, but Muzzy is inevitable. The Buckeyes are coming back, and I'm telling you, Taylor, I'm getting my revenge next year. It's coming. I hope you're ready for next March.
I'll get a 12-pack ready for you.
That's what I'm talking about. Taylor, you're the best. We appreciate you calling in to rub it in a little bit.
Thank you guys so much. Nice chatting with you.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Taylor. How bad was your trash talk to Taylor? Because the first thing I see when I log into X yesterday morning is you going, Muzzy woke up, bad news for all of you. You're getting very comfortable with vlogging, and I'm just seeing you stare, like a 1,000-mile stare in through the camera lens going, it's over. We're winning it today. 3-4. How bad was that trash talk specifically towards Taylor?
And well, the Taylor is literally the greatest.
So you were tame.
No, I was going to say there's no surprise there. You guys got to hear how awesome she is. Just knows a ton about the game, and she's a great ambassador for women's hockey. So I truly mean this. I couldn't be happier for you Badger fans. I'm just more sad for myself. But I don't. You've seen me, Corey. Believe it or not, that was about the only trash talk I did. Taylor and I were very cordial in our messages during the game. It was just kind of like, yeah, this is going to be a tight one. I told her at one point when it was 1-1, I think 3 gets it done. And I thought that I had a moment of prophecy. And then 20 seconds left. We get that call. We get the review for like 30 minutes that just tears me apart. 18 seconds left. You go and, oh my gosh.
4 got it done.
Oh, 4 got it done is right. Well, asterisk 4. You can have it, whatever. I will say, Taylor made the point there, and she couldn't be more right. The game is growing so much. I've never wanted to put my hand in a blender more than I did yesterday after that game was over. I wanted to turn it on and I don't think I would have felt it. I think I was so numb to pain. I can keep talking about it. I need to shut up.
We'll give a little more limelight to the Wisconsin men's basketball team tomorrow. We kind of touched on it with Gabe, but quickly, Wally Lukashinsky it doesn't get any better. Fasting until Saturday, April 19th. Currently living off of just fish, rice, and water. Does have a cheat meal loading up again at the dump in Cambria in 3 days, so something to look forward to there. He's posting 2 social media updates. It's been more than that, too, but at least 2 social media updates a week through this 46-day journey. Every 100 items donated to St. Vincent de Paul Food Pantry here in Beaver Dam at 125 Dodge Drive, or if you drop it off here at the station, 100 Bill McCullum Way here in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Every 100 non-perishable items donated equals a cheat meal for Wally. He's currently up to 8 a couple of weeks in, so not too bad. You can listen to our social media updates, again, over at ESPN Beaver Dam on Facebook or ESPN BD on Twitter, where we give you updates here on the show. All right, I believe Mike Pogorelec will be able to bring you out of your slump here. You're laying on the ground right now.
Yeah, finally a women's team that won't break my heart.
He joins us next. Beaver Dam Girls Hockey head coach Mike Pogorelec joins the Dam Sports Show when we come back on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Attention sports fans. Whether you're chasing the hottest rookie card, that next big autographed sports card, or looking for expert card services, Real Sports Cards is here for you. For everything from sports to Pokemon cards, visit the store in downtown Waupun today. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play and download the Real Sports Cards app for all live online card breaks. Watch, collect, and win from anywhere. Real Sports Cards, where sports fans come to play.
talks about your favorite local teams on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. And it's presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun.
Welcome back to the Dam Sports Show, streaming live on Daily Dodge TV as well as 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Corey Sparks, Wally Lukashinsky here with you. We now welcome on a very special guest. Beaver Dam Girls Hockey team made it all the way to the sectional finals this year, won the Badger Conference, undefeated 12-0 in conference play, and we have the mastermind behind the operation. Head coach Mike Pogorelec joins us now. Coach Pogorelec, thank you so much for jumping on today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolutely. Well, first of all, I got to say, I said it right before break, but it's nice to be talking to a women's hockey team that didn't break my heart over the last 24 hours. I imagine you watched that national title game. I need to know, what were your thoughts? Was that a penalty? And how did they get the penalty shot right?
I personally think they did. When I saw it, I saw her intentionally try to stop that puck with her hand, and I know it slid through the other side, so there's some argument to be had there, but I thought it was the right call.
You're killing me, Coach.
You were just searching for validation.
I'm searching for validation from somewhere. That's fine. I'll allow it.
I can't give it to you. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll keep searching.
You might have to go outside of the state for that.
I might have to.
Yeah, okay. Coach, again, thanks for coming on. I first want to start out with just the beginning of you here coaching in Beaver Dam. When you took this program over a couple of seasons ago, it was in a much different spot than it is now. Could you peel back the layers for us and go over the first few messages that you delivered to this group when you became the next head coach of Beaver Dam Girls Hockey?
Yeah, it was a good opportunity for me, and I think the timing was right. There were some girls in the youth program that were coming up, and just me being involved in the youth program, I kind of knew what that pipeline of girls coming up looked like, and the community around girls hockey years ago, before I got here, did a really nice job of developing talent. So there's been some success in that wildfire program. So from a timing standpoint, I think, the stars align a little bit, but, just looking to kind of change the culture and put some structure in place for the kids. And, I've been successful along with Lauren, who is my assistant this year, who's been coaching with me for over 10 years at the Tier 1 level. We've been successful, just putting some structure and values in place and really preaching the game, not only from a skill development level, but from a system standpoint. So that was all new to the kids. We started the season last year with people not knowing what a forecheck was or what certain power play lineups and strategies were. And, that was all a work in progress. And, this year we had a couple more kids come up, and the team just got better. That second year with them being used to the systems and the way we run things, and still growing that culture with inside of our room, we really take it to the next step, and we're looking to even build on that more as we head into the off season and get ready for next year.
Well, kind of going even further into that, if I were to just say Beaver Dam Hockey to you, what is the brand that you're trying to instill and very evidently have instilled over this first couple of years?
Yeah, we want to be hardworking, and we want to be committed to the program and the team, and good teammates to each other. So we've got some values that are up on our wall in the locker room, and hard work, being a good teammate, and commitment are the three of them. And that's really the three pillars of what we try to do there. So getting the kids more engaged, when you lose that many games in a row over that stretch of time like the program did, it's really hard to kind of just maybe not take it seriously, or when things go poorly, back off and say, hey, I don't want any part of this anymore. And I think we changed that, over this last two seasons, and especially this season. I think the perfect example is the sectional final game. That thing did not start the way we wanted it to. We got down 3, and when things started to panic a little bit in the locker room, we were able to pull it back together and stay focused. And we just knew if we got 1, we could get 2, and we can get 3. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way in the end, but I think that was just a really good example of where our team's come, and just kind of how we look at the season and things moving forward. We're never out of it. Work extremely hard, and are really building that self-confidence game in, game out, year after year.
Wally's got a couple great questions for you on how you feel this season went, which was obviously a magical one. I want to go back to year 1 for you, kind of talking about the group that you had and the messages that you were delivering to them and the expectations. How did season number 1 go in your eyes compared to the expectations that you set forward?
I stood in a parent meeting and said that our goal in season 1 was to win half of our games, and it got quiet in there. People are like, "Ooh, that's a lofty goal."
Yeah.
And we did that. I just knew that with the talent that we had and just some changes in the way we think and play the game, we could go a long way. And it really helps to have a goalie like Emily Smeedema behind you, and we had that last year. As we grew and got used to new systems and we're building confidence, we could always count on her to keep us in games. If we can hang around long enough, we knew that we'd get some scoring and be able to win those games. Last year we didn't score as much, and we really leaned on that goaltending. This year we leaned on that goaltending a lot too. Emily was a big part of what we did, but we also saw the scoring ramp up. So I think we averaged just under 4 goals a game, which is a very, very big improvement from year one, and definitely over years past where they struggled to score a goal. So it was, the first year was great. It exceeded our expectations, and I think it just kind of teed up this year, which was obviously great. But we've got a lot of work to do, and we're building for next year as well.
Well, reflecting on this year real quick, I mean, this season was full of so many amazing moments. I immediately think about that amazing scene when you guys closed out the conference championship at home. Was there a moment that stood apart from the pack for you this year? I feel like you could probably go on for days with that.
Well, there's a lot of them. One of the big ones for us was beating Fond du Lac. To start that game out, I think we got down a couple and then worked our way back. That was a really cool moment for the kids. Because that's a team, there's a lot of Waupun girls on that team. Fond du Lac's just up the road. The youth teams kind of have a little rivalry that they've had over the past couple of years. So that was a good game for us. But there was a lot of cool moments. The one you're talking about, wrapping up conference, that was a great moment, just the scene on the ice afterwards. But just the support that this community showed this group was awesome. To see girls hockey get that kind of attention, to have the Family Center almost standing room only for our sectional game. Those are things that people didn't think were possible a few years ago, and it's really a credit to the hard work of these players, the dedication that the parents have put in over the years, and just really building girls hockey in this community.
Coach, we're going to have a lot of your athletes in the studio this week for interviews to talk about what 2024-25 meant to them. I'd love to start talking with you about Brenna Rhodes. What's it like having somebody like that with talent of her caliber who can take over a game at a moment's notice?
Brenna's a great kid. You guys got to see what she's capable of on the ice this year. She loves hockey. She's all hockey all the time. She's a better kid off the ice than she is on the ice. She really is a pillar of our hockey community, especially with the girls. I'm fortunate that my family lives next door to the Rhodes, so we know them pretty well, and I can tell you that my 2 daughters look up to her. And that's a big part of the reason they go to the games, just to be around Brenna and see what she does. She's got such a positive outlook, and a lot of our girls have that, but there's no surprise to me that Brenna is successful as she is just because of the hard work and dedication. I can't tell you how many times I've come home in the summer, Brenna's outside shooting pucks. It happens day in and day out, and you saw the product of all that hard work this season.
You guys were a really young team this year, only a few seniors with the group, but I want to start with them too. This group has seen the highs and lows of high school hockey. What did this group mean to you, and what did this group mean to this community?
The senior group this year was awesome. They mean a ton to the community. We talked about Brenna being a great kid. Addie and McKenna and Emily are right there with her. Addie really grew as a hockey player and a leader over the last 2 years, and led that team and was a big part of our locker room. Emily, again, kind of the backstop of our group. And she's another great kid that will do anything you ask of her, and really leads that group in the locker room. And McKenna, a little different perspective. She didn't get all the minutes that maybe some of the other kids did, but she is the number one cheerleader on the bench. She's always asking the kids to work hard, praising them when they do good things, and really played a huge role in our team this year, on the ice in practice, in the locker room. She just did a great job and is an exceptional kid. And this group, moving on, it's definitely, we're happy for them. We want them to achieve everything that they can moving forward, but they will truly be missed in our locker room for sure.
One of those seniors that you talked about and mentioned a little earlier is Emily Smeedema, the red wall. What does having a goalie as dependable, just nails like she is, do for that team in front of her?
it's a big thing in hockey. When you have somebody that you can count on, you know they're going to have their A game pretty much every night. It covers up some of the things that maybe we don't do well on a night in, night out basis. And it could be some of the slow starts, and we saw some of those this year where we just couldn't get it going. And she's there to bail us out until we get there. It's really valuable. And the team, it's given the opportunity for the team to grow and play better in front of her. And our goalies moving down the line will benefit from that. Like you mentioned, we only graduated 3 kids, so all the other kids in our roster get a ton of experience playing in the system, have gotten better, and Dorothy Baker is going to benefit from that next year in the defensive zone, where hopefully we don't make her work as hard.
I saw every single player on this roster scored at least 1 point this year. Coach, when you look at that at the end of the year, what does that say about your team's depth from this past season?
Yeah, it's awesome. We have the ability to play 3 lines, and I think that's even going to get better as we move on through the next couple of years with some of the talent that's coming up to the youth organization. Everybody got to contribute. You know, some nights are different than others, and we try the best we can to put people out in situations where they can succeed. But we found those opportunities this year. We've had a lot of freshmen get their first points and contribute in big ways, and it's something that we love to do. It's not always possible, but this year we're happy about it, and I think this team, this group, just gets deeper and deeper for the next several years, so we're excited about that.
Coach, could you touch a bit on the support from Beaver Dam for both you and for this program since you took over the reins back in 2023?
The support is absolutely awesome. You know, for the last 10 years, you know, I've been coaching Tier 1 with Lauren, and it's a different animal. Like, the skill level is obviously elevated a little bit across the board, but you're playing in front of your parents and some family every now and then. That's different than what these kids get to experience in the rink, and especially towards the end of the year where that place is full most of the time. It's just great to see people come out. You know, I talked to a bunch of people who don't know anything about hockey. They can't tell you what icing is or offsides, but they were there for 3, 4, 5 games just because of the atmosphere and to support the community and the players in the community. And we're seeing that through the youth program now. I was at the rink the other day, and Lurd Skate's going on, and it's like 65, 70% girls. So that's a direct impact, in my opinion, of what this team did this year and what people in the community think about it. And hopefully we can just keep getting girls involved and keep the numbers up and keep growing the program for years to come.
Coach, as sports fans, the moment a season ends, we jump ahead and start looking to next year, and I'm no different. I'm already pumped up to get back over to the Family Center and watch some hockey. But I want to ask you, what will you guys be focused on in preparation for this team and this season coming up next winter?
You know, we want to be better in our defensive zone. You know, that's one area that we struggled with, and we struggled over the past 2 seasons. And it improved last year. We've still got a lot of work to do. At times we've spent too much time down there, and there's systems and things we can work on, but a lot of it's skill work too. You know, knowing what to do with the puck in certain situations and find ways to get the puck out of the zone. So that'll be a big thing. The off season for us is primarily skill development. You know, we'll get on the ice as much as we're allowed to and work on those things and try to keep the team together and keep it going. The nice thing about hockey is these kids are very invested in it, and while they do play other sports, a lot of times hockey is their main sport. So we've had great turnouts in the off season of getting, you know, probably 90% of our team to the rink when we do workouts.
Wow.
And we look to continue that and focus really becoming more skill based and improving those skills, and that's going to translate and make playing in our systems easier moving forward.
Coach, I cannot thank you enough for carving out some time to talk to us and review this past amazing season. Last one for you before we let you go. Who are some upcoming names Golden Beaver fans should be on the lookout for come next season?
Can you repeat that? Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Just some upcoming names looking ahead to 2025, 2026 that Golden Beaver fans can expect to step up even more.
Yeah, we've got a good freshman class coming up. You know, there's Macy Damon, so we've got another Damon sister that's in the fold.
It's a factory.
That should be coming up as a freshman next year. So that's going to be a big one. Addison Mueller, Olivia Stevens. I'm going to forget somebody, I know that, so don't hold it against me, guys. But that youth class coming up is going to be skilled and is going to contribute right away. And then as we look down the line, you know, we've got some 7th graders right now. They're going to be 8th graders that are really skilled that want to play in the program. And that's going to go back like for a couple more years. So you're going to continue to see skill. You're going to continue to see kids have an impact and our depth grow, and that's just going to make this group stronger. And again, I can't say enough about the people in the program that have been doing this for years. Like, this is not something that happened overnight. These kids have been on the ice, and people have been working with them for years. They've been getting opportunities for years, and that's why this program is getting to where it needs to be at this point. We're just fortunate enough to work with them, maybe take it to the next level a little bit, and put a good product on the ice and have these kids achieve their goals. So we're very fortunate with the youth program, the support we have here in Beaver Dam.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. And I feel like Beaver Dam Girls Hockey has been a great conversation starter, especially the last couple of years. That's a testament to everything you've done and brought forth. So thank you so much for all that you do, and thanks for jumping on today.
Yeah, just real quick, I appreciate you guys, too. You guys have been awesome supporting the group, and we are fortunate to have the two of you and Wade involved in this community, and I appreciate everything you do.
Oh, thank you so much. That means more than you know.
Wow, jinx.
Jinxing each other.
Yeah,
look at that.
but you're the man, Coach. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, that was head coach Mike Pogorelec. Remarkable season for Beaver Dam Girls Hockey on the doorstep of state, and they went 18-6 this year. He alluded to it, but there was a streak at one point where this program lost 70 in a row. And I like that he peeled it back and talked about how from year one he was telling the parents, we're winning half our games. That's the expectation. Didn't get the most resounding response because people didn't know what that looked like for a while. They not only did that, but then 2 years removed became a state contender and a real powerhouse here in Dodge County. So that's awesome.
I didn't really hear a word of it after he gave me a compliment. It went right to my head. And now I'm just like, I know that's a shock to everybody, but naturally I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I guess I am pretty great. Thanks, Coach.
Who's hot, who's not? Rapid fire edition as per usual when we come back here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
Latest on the locals.
We're back.
Welcome back. This is going to be a very short segment. It's Who's Hot, Who's Not. And along with that, make sure that you visit Key West Salon and Spa here in Beaver Dam. They have Jeremy the Barber. You can get your hair cut in March and be entered into a drawing for a baseball cap, $18 kids cuts. Jeremy's a veteran, extremely friendly, and previously gave military cuts. Walk-ins are welcome, so you don't have to wait 6 weeks out. You can just go in and see what their availability looks like. They'll try and fit you in. Jeremy also offers a punch card system. Buy 5 haircuts and get the 6th free. Who's hot, who's not? We know the rules, so I will just give it to you.
No, the dump in Dodge County. Give me a cheat meal. It'll be short. That's it. I love it. I'm going to love you.
I'm going to go 1 through 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Very chalky. And then for who's not... Oh, boy.
I was going to say Corey Stark's stomach. I'll say that for another time. How about referees in college hockey? Not calling obvious shootout or penalty shot violations. It's fine. It's not. I'm not talking specifics, but the NHL refs or NCAA refs got to do better.
I'm glad you're over it. I'm going to say Wisconsin sports in the winter, outside of what the women's hockey team did. Tough week. Men's basketball gets bounced for the Badgers. Marquette goes down. UW Green Bay women's basketball falls to Bama. UW Oshkosh women's basketball and UW Stout both made the Final Four for Division III. They both fell in the Final Four. All that happened in about 6 days. Does that hurt?
Yeah. No, well, the one that couldn't win in my happiness did. So great job, everybody.
Yeah. I think it worked out pretty well. Homer Hour is coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow. More Beaver Dam Girls Hockey interviews here on the Dam Sports Show, 1430 ESPN and Daily Dodge TV.
How do airplanes